Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this leaking kitchen sink behind me. Now guys, I've already worked on this kitchen sink. The one video I have of a leaking sink is this one here. I believe what's happening is the pipe is too long and it's putting pressure on the cup drain. So guys, I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. I'm going to take out the cup drain. I'm going to clean it off, put putty, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the trap arm back, and I believe that's going to fix the problem. So what we'll do really quickly is we'll look at the leak, what the probable issue is, and then we'll do material and tools. Alright guys, this is our leak. So it's leaking from around here. So we'll look up top really quickly. And you see putty around it. I think it's actually leaking from this side. Guys, it looks like the exact same thing happening from last time. But since this is my friend's place, I mean, it's not a big deal for me to come back and fix it. But what we'll do is we'll take the cup drain out. We'll put it back together. Put new putty in. We will adjust the trap arm. We'll cut a coupling. We'll straighten it out. And that should fix this issue. Alright guys, this is our material list. So I have a cup drain, I have a 6-inch tailpiece, it's 1.5 inches in diameter, gloves, ABS glue, I have an 1.5 inch coupling, and I have plumber's putty. Guys, this is what I believe I need to do this job. So what we'll do now is the tools list. Alright guys, this is our tools list. So I have a big set of channel locks, hacksaw, increment level, and then I have a smaller pair of channel locks. Guys, this is what I believe I need to do this job. So let's get started. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is we are going to loosen this off, and then we're going to loosen this off here. Last time I wasn't able to take this off, so I'm not going to bother to try. Alright guys, with our metal ring off, the whole thing will just come out now. Alright guys, so this is our ring of putty, and once again, the same spot has been washed out. So I believe the issue here is that the drain is, there's too much pressure on the drain because they didn't pipe this all that well. But what I'll do is we'll clean this out. We'll wipe it all down. And then we'll put new putty in and put our cup drain back in. So guys, one other thing to keep in mind is to clean this out as well. Wipe it all down, make sure that you don't have any debris or contamination. And then you should be okay to go. And guys, since we're already here, always make sure that there's no damage here. And also along the cup drain, make sure that there's no hairline cracks or anything like that, because that may be the problem. But this cup drain looks to be in good shape, so I don't think that's what the issue is. Alright guys, with the cup drain gone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen off this nut here, loosen off this nut here, and then we're going to take the drain assembly here out. I'm going to put the cup drain back in, and then we're going to figure out what we need to do. But I mean, it's so crooked that I think it's just putting unnecessary pressure on the cup drain. And guys, remember that there's still going to be water in your trap. And guys, remember, don't pour your water back into your sink because there's no trap on it. And I've done this so many times. Alright guys, so we'll grab our putty. we'll once again roll it. Okay, so we'll put our putty on. Now guys, there is a thing is putting on too much. If you have a space between the lip of your drain and the sink, you've probably put on too much. And no, you don't want to have any type of a gap because the putty will wash away if the gap is too big. Alright guys, so that's what it looks like. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put it back into the drain. Alright guys, so once again, when we put the drain back in, if there's any logo or anything here, then make sure that it looks straight. There's a logo down here, but it's barely visible. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the ring back underneath, and that is going to compress the putty between the sink and the cup drain. Alright guys, with that on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the ring. I'm not going to put the rubber back on this time. I think it's in such bad shape. I mean, this thing looks to be in bad shape now. I think it's all stretched out, no good. But what I'll do is I'll get the ring back on. We'll tighten that up. And guys, keep one thing in mind. When you're tightening up your ring, you want to hold your cup drain in place because it'll have the habit of wanting to spin on you. And guys, as I always say, don't tighten it down too much because you can break something. Alright guys, so the drain is back on, but you can see how misaligned that is, which means that at least the 90 needs to go back. I think also the 45 there, I think that should have been farther out. They didn't go far out enough. But guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the trap arm here right behind the 90. Guys, I would suggest if you're going to cut a coupling in, always cut it near the fitting. Do it tight to the fitting, because if you have the coupling in the middle, it's a lot more noticeable than if you just have it tight to there. But what I'll do now is I'll cut off the 90. We're going to dry fit the drain on, put it where we want it, and then we're going to go from there. Alright guys, we're going to cut off the trap arm, or sorry, the 90 for the trap. So guys, this is 1.5" pipe. So the hub here, is all 3/4. So leave 3/4 of an inch when you cut it off, and it should be tight. And all I do is just eye this out. Alright guys, so we will cut off, wipe off the burrs, and then I want the coupling to be tight like that. And where you see the line is, that is the center. And it also has a tiny space, 1/8 of an inch space. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Alright guys, so really quickly, looking at the trap, well, you can't see it very well. Okay, there you go. So you can see how the trap arm is off to this side and this is here. So that 45 should have been slightly longer, and then this, they should have spun it back to get the whole thing to line up. But what I'll do is I'm going to wipe that off. We're going to glue the coupling onto the 90, and then we're going to figure out where we need to be and cut the trap arm back. Alright guys, what we'll do is we'll glue our coupling onto our 90. So guys, I always do the fitting first so it doesn't run down the pipe. But you don't need much glue. That is fine. Guys, we'll put a little bit of glue on this side. Alright guys, so push in and turn. And guys, in this case, I will leave a slight gap just so the glue doesn't squirt out. But you can also see the buildup in the drain. Alright guys, with that in mind, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to figure out how much to cut off the trap arm. And guys, really in this case, all I'm going to do is just eye this out. Alright guys, now we need to mock up our drain for where we want it to be. So I put the ring on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push up and I'm going to tighten the ring down, and that should hold this into place. Guys, this is critical, this part right here, because if you mock it up in the wrong spot, you're just going to have the same problem all over again. Alright guys, so that does look better. It looks straighter now. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to measure this. I'm just going to look at it from the side and try to be as close as possible. Alright, that looks okay. And guys, obviously, if you cut this too short, you're hooped. If you cut it too long, you can always go back and cut it a little bit more, but the goal is to be accurate the first time. Alright, with that done, we'll clean off the burrs. And guys, always dry fit the thing on first. Test it without glue to make sure that the thing is going to work. Alright, that looks to be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the coupling on, glue the pipe. I'm going to put the 90 on, and as it's drying, I'm going to tighten this up to set the 90 to be with the union trap. Guys, this is just a union trap. It's just two mating surfaces here and here. So if they're not aligned correctly, you're going to have a leak. Alright, so we'll put it on, we'll give it a spin. And then we're going to tighten it up. Alright guys, so we're going to test. So because I took the entire drain assembly off, we have to test both compartments. Guys, give it a third, maybe a half full of water for a solid test. And this is the time to check if you have any leaks. Alright, everything looks to be alright. So guys, that is what I cut out. That's an inch, which is significant for this, but everything looks good. Guys, really, I think what needs to happen is from that 45, this whole drain assembly, I think, needs to be cut out and redone. I'm just not happy with it. And guys, as a general rule of thumb, I don't like to try to change existing work instead of just cutting out and starting from fresh. Again, this is somebody else that did this, and based on the craftsmanship, I don't have much faith in this. But guys, we'll clean up and then we'll do an overview of this job. Oh, and last thing before I forget, guys, scrape away the excess putty and take it with you. And guys, like I always say, putty may squeeze out a little bit later on as well. Alright guys, so that concludes this job. So guys, in this case, I think the drain really, it should be cut out and replaced. But this is my friend's place, so he'll put something underneath. If it leaks again, I will cut it out and start from scratch. Because even what I've done, it's not where I want it to be, but at least it's better than it was before. Guys, the time on this job. The time was about an hour. I mean, it's straightforward. There's nothing in the way. You can see everything. The cost of this job, the coupling and the bit of putty, the cost, I'd say, is about $5. Guys, really, being able to do this yourself is the win. It's not the material cost, because this is negligible for material. It's just when you see it and address the problem, you need to figure out what the actual problem is and then go from there. And I said this on the first video that I think the drain is stressing the cup drain. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, until next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.